Hey guys, welcome back. So today I'm going to show you a technique that I learned recently and have started implementing in my own tracks, and that is the false drop. It's basically delaying a drop a bar or so to keep the listeners on their toes and add a bit of variation and interest to your tracks. So without further ado, let's get into it. So here's the build into the main core of the track beforehand. And now here it is with some more variation and interest using the false drop. So I'm going to first show you some elements and techniques that you can use in creating energy to build up to a drop or chorus, and then I'll show you how you can make your tracks more interesting by subverting the audience's expectations with a false drop. So as you can hear, our track jumps quite jarringly from a stripped back middle 8 to a high energy groove with a vocal hook and more rhythmic and melodic elements. We can employ a couple of techniques to make this transition smoother. I've actually detailed some of these and more in my transitions episode, so check that out if you haven't. So, the first thing I'm going to do is make a snare roll. I'm just going to pick a snare sample I like and program it to play 16th notes over 8 bars. As you can hear, just having it play 16th notes with no variation over time sounds a bit rubbish. So what can we do to make it increase in energy over time? Well, first we can tweak the sample's velocity so it increases over the 8-bar loop and peaks on the final 16th note. We can draw this curve in using the pencil tool, which we can toggle by pressing B. I'm also going to increase the sample's volume and filter out some of the high end over the 8-bar clip. I'll automate the volume to increase on the clip and then apply an auto filter. Then I'll right click on the frequency parameter and select show automation. Then I'll draw in the automation to have the filter frequency increase over time. I'll even curve the line so it shoots up right at the end of the snare roll. Next I'll send some other drum elements to delay and reverb returns so that they build and then tail out as the transition finishes, helping bridge the gap between the build and the drop. For example, I'll send these snare hits to the go mid effect, automating them so that the effect only takes hold of the last couple of hits. Finally, I'll use the reverse sample to help bridge the transfer of energy from stripped back to full force. I've gone with a sweeping white noise sample which builds to a peak as the drop comes in. Now with the building elements in place, we can go about creating a false drop by cutting away some of the elements you might expect in the drop and then reintroducing them a bar after. So let's start by subtracting the low end elements like the kick and bass. I'll also remove all the percussive elements and keep just a couple of the more understated melodic elements. I also like having the vocal as a one shot to fill the gap. I find introducing a new or varied melodic element during this moment also helps make the drop more unique. Here I'm going to take the ARP line and pitch it up an octave and have it come in earlier. You could also write a small synth line here. Here I'm going to remove the bridging building elements to show you how much they help in smoothing the transition to the false drop here. And this is with those elements reintroduced. I'm also going to show you a couple more techniques you can employ to add some more impact to your drops. This first one is a bit of a simple technique, but one which is actually quite impactful. And that's simply just automating the gain of the master channel to decrease over the build and then having it return as the beat drops back in. Doing this will give the drop more energy and a punch on the dance floor. Something else you can also try is filtering out the low end of the master track as the song builds and then dropping it back during the drop, a technique DJs will be familiar with. To do this, we'll slap on our auto filter effect, set it to a low pass and automate it so that the frequency rises as the track builds and then returns as the beat drops back in. And there you go, some creative ways to approach building energy in your tracks, and another way of keeping your listeners on their toes with a false drop. So that's the video. Hope you guys enjoyed and learned something from that, and maybe start implementing it in your own tracks. If you've got any comments, leave them down below. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.